Okay. Um, how do you feel about my future?
Excited de ver lo que el futuro tiene para ti, de
Okay.
verte graduar,
Mm-hmm.
tener una buena carrera.
How do you feel about your son going to Germany?
Happy, proud, contenta de ver de que vas a aprender otras culturas, otro idioma, conocer nueva gente, nuevo país.
Mm. Has anyone in my family done this before?
Nobody. I think you're the first one.
It is 7:30 in the morning. Um, I couldn't really go to sleep last night because I was nervous. I was excited. Um, because today is the day that I'm flying internationally for the first time in my life. Alright, so I just got through TSA. I'm ready, I'm excited. Here a little bit early, I'm gonna charge my phone because it's gonna be a 1 hour flight to Toronto. Doing a layover in Toronto for 3 hours. I'm just in the process of getting myself registered in Canada right now before I move on to Munich. 8 hour flight, so it's gonna be pretty cool. So I'm finally in Munich. I got my luggage. I did currency exchange, so I don't have to get to the school until 3 o'clock. Just looking around the airport. Thick muffin, bacon and egg. Haben Sie Pommes Pommes Fritz? Klein. So I have like about 2 hours to kill. I'll look around the airport, shop for a bit, get my German kind of brushed off. I might check out the Bayern Munich store. Things are pretty good so far here. The hardest thing for me right now is just getting used to the euros. It's kind of a culture shock for me. Once I get out of the airport and like into like, you know, Germany, like it's gonna be really amazing. You know, different language other than like what I'm used to, like English or Spanish. I do have a train at I believe 1:40, so I still have a bit of time. It's like 11 o'clock right now. I am at the bus stop right now. Just waiting for the bus to come. I'm a little bit early. This is going to take us to the main train station in Munich, and from there I'm going to take the train, a 2-hour train ride to Regensburg, which is where the school is at. So I finally made it to Regensburg. So I have to take a 10-minute walk. So I'm here. I'm really excited. Oh, I didn't even see those right there.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at this. Show
Dude,
stuff.
that's creepy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Look at that.
Dude, look at the things in the back there.
Yeah.
That's creepy the
Oh my god.
The light. Oh, dude, something's gonna move. I'm not.
Before classes started, all the students had breakfast together. And after classes ended, we took a detailed tour of the city. Our first weekly excursion was a boat ride down the Danube River to Valhalla, Germany's Hall of Fame.
Here, you can find the latest and greatest of all of German history. Some examples include father of genetics, Gregor Mendel, and the infamous Albert Einstein. Great musicians like Mozart and Beethoven. Martin Luther, Protestant reformer. Wilhelm Röntgen, discoverer of the X-ray. Famous astronomer Johannes Kepler, first German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, and the courageous Sophie Scholl. Football is the biggest sport in Europe. And by football, I mean this kind.
Still full of running, and here's Götze! It's Mario Götze! It's Super Mario! He might just have won the World Cup for Germany!
I was lucky enough to view the group stage of the World Cup in the home of the reigning champs. Despite a disappointing result and an early exit, the experience was amazing. Germany is filled with culture and tradition, and Bavaria is no exception. The school put on a Bayerisch class, where we learned about the Bavarian culture and language. Because Germans are known for their beer, we also took a tour of a local brewery located in Regensburg. Our next excursion was to Kilheim, just outside Regensburg. We visited the Befreiungshalle, or the Hall of Liberation, built to commemorate the victory over Napoleon's invasion. We then embarked on a hike in the beautiful scenic forest. And took a short boat trip in between the Danube Gorge.
Wie geht's dir?
Es geht mir sehr gut jetzt.
Ich habe Italienisch gekocht.
Ah, danke, aber ich mag Italienisch nicht.
Oh, es tut mir leid. Ich kann ein anderes Essen kochen.
Wie lange dauert das?
Ich kann Fisch mit Reis kochen. Das dauert eine Stunde.
Tut mir leid, aber das ist sehr lang. Können wir ins Restaurant gehen?
Ja, natürlich. Ich denke, das ist besser.
Ach, du musst dich entscheiden.
In Regensburg, there are several churches throughout the town, the biggest being St. Peter's Cathedral. Every Sunday morning, many come to the cathedral to participate in Mass. The building itself contains hundreds of years' worth of history. The Niedermunster is an example of a smaller church. However, this particular church is special. Below it are the foundations of ancient Roman military buildings and predecessors of the church.
Inside, it was not here those days. This is the foundation for nowadays church, so we just cannot remove it. But this has nothing to do with the excavation here, but it just must be here.
Geologists excavated and found remnants of chosen walls built by previous citizens. Tombs were also found, including that of a bishop.
Street level, raised during the centuries. Finally, they took the coffin lid above the floor, so that the last level is up here and they put it on the floor. Erhard is still also in here. His bones are still in here, except his skull. His skull is upstairs in the church because once a year we have the Erhard Day here in January. And then they take out the skull of Erhard, and this Erhard is known as doing miracles.
And the Duke of Bavaria, Henry I, his wife, and their daughter. The next excursion we went on was special. We took a train ride to Nuremberg, where we toured the rallying grounds of the Nazi Party. This was an integral part of the trip because we were reminded of the horrific events that occurred in Germany during the Third Reich. It is important that we remember so we can prevent it from happening again. After the tour, we then headed to the old town of Nuremberg. There we walked through a medieval town built with a moat, walls, and towers. And visited a cathedral centered in it. Although it was rainy, our last week in Germany continued. We were invited to the city archives to check out some of the history of Regensburg. We were also invited to take a tour of the Old Town Hall where the Perpetual Diet was held. This is where the members of cities all around the Holy Roman Empire congregated and made decisions regarding the empire. And underneath the town hall lied a torture chamber and a jail cell dating back to the medieval days. And just next to it was an old arsenal room.
Oh, you see, I'm German. I'm opening everything just carefully.
It's so nice.
Now I have to rip it. I can't even rip it. No,
Dankeschön.
oh, ihr seid so lieb. Ihr seid so lieb. Das ist so toll. Danke.
On our last day together in Regensburg, we enjoyed a final dinner in a beer garden. Afterwards, we took a final walk through the city. We wanted to remember the beautiful place we called home for the past month. We took pictures and watched the beautiful sunset on the stone bridge. We then headed over to the remnants of the old Roman wall, built back in 179 AD, only one of the few left in Europe. We walk through the new Feldplatz, the center of the city, where you can find a galleria, shops, and even a farmer's market. Many students graduate college without studying abroad at least once. Studying abroad is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You will make so many memories and experience new things, all with other students. I highly recommend it. If you're a student who hasn't studied abroad and would be interested, please visit your school's study abroad office. Ask about when and where programs are held, and about scholarships to fund your trip. I am so grateful that I was able to experience something a lot of people don't or can't. I couldn't have done it without being awarded the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship. It's because of this award that I was able to go on this journey. Please visit the Gilman Scholarship website to find out how and when to apply for a chance to receive this honorary award.